Hi, my name is Barbara, and this is me by the campfire. And so, I'm going to be starting a new series. And one of the things I think is cool is to talk about spooky stuff that's ever happened to me. So, this is really it. So, a few years ago, I was out of my dad's house, and my dad lives out in the country. So, land everywhere, and there's big old barns and everything. Well, we decided that we were going to camp out at his house. And my dad has on his property a really large big barn, an old chicken coop that we use for storage and things like that. And I ended up putting my tent out by the barn, away from everybody. I had an attitude because I thought we were going to go camping at an actual campground and not in our backyard. So I had left my brothers who were on the campfire. They're a building away. They can't even see my tent where I am, and I can't see them. And I'm on the phone with my boyfriend, and I hear walking, like, around my tent. And I get worried because I'm like, what? And my first, I wasn't even like, oh man, it's somebody. I was like, it's one of my brothers playing a prank. Because I have 4 brothers, and they're all assholes. So I listen, because I'm like, they're not going to scare me. And I end up seeing their hand that was like pressed up against the fabric of my tent, just pressing, like, and I reach out to, like, and the whole time I'm on the phone acting like I'm not even bothered, like I don't even see it, because I'm going to smack their hand, but like, I caught you. Well, I go to hit, dead air. Like, I hit nothing, but there was a hand there, I should have high-fived it. Immediately I got scared because I'm like, I forgot my dad's house is haunted. So what I end up doing is I listen, because I'm like, alright, maybe it's Brett. Like, I'm still trying to rationalize that it's one of my brothers. So I end up calling the one brother who's not out by the campfire, Brett, and I listen, and I can hear his phone ringing in the house. And I'm like, and he picks up, and I'm like, send the phone and come get me. I think there's someone around my tent. He's like, okay. So he comes, and he's probably thinking the same thing as one of my brothers. And we end up, I wait on him, and I hear the whole time footsteps around my tent, and the whole time a hand press up. Just like, oh my God. So he comes, and he doesn't see anybody. He literally gets to the side of my tent where it's actively happening, and there's nobody there. He doesn't see it, of course. He doesn't even hear it. Well, he helps me pick up the tent, and I move it to the front where the other tents are next to my dad. I eventually go to sleep. You think that's the end of the story? No. So, one point overnight, I hear a tent unzip, and I look out, peeking. It's my dad. He's standing outside the tent. He's smoking, just like. I'm like, what are you doing, old man? And I get out and I talk to him. And he's like, I thought Damien was playing, but he's not. And the reason why that was like, was because my dad had woken up to a kid playing around, and he saw a face pressed into the tent like that. And my dad thought at first it was my nephew, Damien, who was 7 at the time. And my dad's like, what is he doing outside? And then it clicked, like, he's not even here. There's no kids here. And so he ended up getting up to smoke, because he's like, what the hell is going on? I don't even tell him what had happened to me, because he was already asleep by the time it had happened with me earlier. And we're talking about something, and I might have started to tell him about it, but then we hear a noise, and we look over, and we see a person walking back towards my brother Cody's tent. We wave, like, hey, because we assume it's Cody. We see him go to where the tent is. We don't see him go in it, but we saw him head that way. We didn't think anything. In the morning, we found out Cody never left his tent. The ghost got us again. So that's just one of my ghost stories I have, but it's a true story that actually happened to me that scared the crap out of me, and I thought you guys would find it cool. So hopefully you guys like the series. Again, this is not going to be the main part. It's actually going to be me looking at parks and woods, because I am nothing more than your average hiker, and I like to share my experiences. So later.